Hi everybody, my name's Jennifer. I'm from Reno, Nevada, and I decided to do a video because I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with adaptogenic herbs. Um, I was raised by my mother fairly holistically my entire life, and obviously as a kid growing up you don't realize what a benefit that is to you until later in life when you're an adult. Um, I pretty much feel like I've suffered with depression and anxiety my entire life. I think in my younger years I didn't really understand the anxiety part of it, but I knew for a fact that I just wasn't in as good of a place as a lot of the kids growing up, um, at school and stuff. I just could tell that I was depressed even before it was like really a thing, I guess. I mean, you didn't really hear a lot about it back in the 70s and 80s. Um, I always had stomach issues, and I think a lot of that had to do with my anxiety that I didn't realize I had at the time. So, fast forward quite a few years, I ended up in my first marriage to a man that was an alcoholic. We had a pretty volatile relationship for a lot of those years, and obviously the depression and anxiety got worse with his addictions and behaviors. And I just coped with it as well as I thought I could. I was never really on any medications or any sort of thing. Maybe things for upset stomachs, but that was about it. We ended up getting divorced when he finally went to prison. And I ended up meeting a wonderful man who I'm still married to. We're working on our 20-year anniversary. And I, I kind of feel like I almost had a mental breakdown because at the time I had a 2-year-old daughter when we got together. And I just remember one time after moving in with my current husband, I remember laying in bed at least for an entire day. It could have been more days than that, and just crying and not being able to figure out why I was sad, because in my conscious mind I was like, I just got rid of this other person in my life that caused me so much misery. Like, why am I sad about this? um so I kind of struggled through a lot of that, and I didn't understand it, and still stomach issues and stomach issues and stomach issues. And so, we went about life. We had our son together, and sometimes I'd feel fine, other times I'd feel terrible. We ended up actually living about 20 miles out of town, and it got to a point where the drive into work was just more than I could take. I would literally have to stop at a store halfway to work or to drop my son off at daycare to go to the bathroom because I had just terrible, terrible stomach issues from all the stress and anxiety that I was going through that I didn't really realize still to that time that I was going through. And, so we age and we age and we age and we go through, a bunch of different things with our body. And I got to a point in my late 30s where I was like just tired all the time. It didn't matter what I did. If I sat at my desk at work all day, I was exhausted when I got home. If I went to work out at the gym or try and go running with my husband, I would just come home and flop on the couch and literally pass out to sleep. I was just so exhausted. At the time, I was going to a chiropractor who believed in muscle testing and adrenal fatigue and all of those sorts of things. And his wife used to do muscle testing, and every muscle test she would do on me would come back with adrenal fatigue. So they had a line of products that they had at their office that they put me on, and it helped a little bit, but still it was just a struggle. And for a little while I went on Zoloft, and I took it for probably about a year, and it just didn't seem to help anything. So one day my husband said, I just don't know why you're taking this. You don't seem any better. Like, what's the point? You're just putting these drugs into your body that you don't know what they're going to do to you in the long term, and you don't seem like you're feeling better. So what's the point, basically? And I kind of agreed with him, and I ended up weaning myself off of those. Um, and then I was just kind of at a loss. I tried different supplements. I tried to do all the different things my mom had told me. I've always been a pretty decent eater with my diet. I tried to work out. I just tried to do all the stuff that everybody said was right, and nothing seemed to help. Um, so years and years went by, and I ended up getting sort of an addiction to alcohol. Um, I don't know necessarily what caused it. I assume it was my depression and anxiety because every time I would drink, I wouldn't feel that way. I would feel happy. I wouldn't feel shy about talking to people or, being in crowds or any of that. All that worry just kind of went away when I was drinking. So I just kept it up and kept it up and kept it up. And it got to a point where I was pretty much drinking every single day, multiple drinks a day, just to function. So one day I was out to lunch with one of my girlfriends, and, she started talking to me about these herbs that she was taking. And I don't remember the specific conversation at this point because it was a couple years ago, and it was kind of at the height of, my drinking and all that. And so she just said, I know you've been complaining about being tired all the time and all that kind of stuff. So she goes, I think you should just give these a try. And this girl is one of the girls in my life that I feel very confident in the fact that she would never recommend that I try something just because. And she wasn't a specialist. She was just a person that was taking these herbs to help her with whatever her issues were specifically. So she gave me my mentor's name and number, and she said, give this girl a call. I went to high school with her. I played softball with her like we've known each other forever and ever, and I wouldn't give you her name if I didn't think she could, do something, try and help you. So I called her, and we met, and basically I just told her what all my things were that I had going on. She recommended quite, some things for me to get on, and she actually said, well, if you're going to sign up to take the herbs, you might as well just sign up as a specialist. That way you can make money. And I literally told her right then and there, I said, I've done a couple network marketing companies. I really don't have any interest in doing that. I'm not good at it. I'm a total introvert. It's hard for me to talk to people. It's hard for me to talk in front of people. Like, I failed at both of the other two that I tried. So I just really don't want to have anything to do with it. And she goes, well, that's fine. She goes, the worst case scenario is you can buy your kit and you'll have a book and you'll have, a bunch of free samples. And, if you ever decide you want to pursue it, you can do it. And I thought, all right, that's fine. So I went ahead and signed up. And really, I kept telling her, like, I'm not going to be able to do anything with this business until I see if these products actually work. Because one thing I can't do is lie or pretend or do any of that stuff. I'm just not good at it. Pretty much my feelings are usually all over my face, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. So at any rate, I've been on the Solle products for 2 years. They don't work right away. They're herbs, and everybody's different, and everybody has different levels of issues that they need to fix. One of my favorite sayings that we talk about a lot is human beings are like onions. They have so many layers, and depending on how many layers you have with all the stuff that you've been through in your life, really kind of depends on how long it's going to take. So in the past probably, 6 months, I've basically felt the best I've ever felt. And I take pretty much all of the products, not necessarily on a daily basis. Some of them are just for, when I need them. But I don't feel like I have anxiety attacks anymore. I mean, I still have some, but they definitely aren't to the degree they were a few years ago. Obviously, I still have some depression when life happens, and that's just kind of how your emotions work. But I don't want to stay in bed for days on end. You know, it's just not as bad as it used to be. Like, I feel like I can go about life, and even if things happen that kind of throw me a curveball, I deal with them much better. Not going into a panic attack, not being depressed and staying in bed all day. So, you know, that's basically my story, and I just want everybody to know that when I talk to you about these herbs, it's coming from the heart. It's not because I care about, you know, how much money I'm going to make in commission off of this or that. It's because this is the first thing I've tried basically in my entire life that has consistently worked for me. And I'm basically a whole different person. Like 2 years ago, I would not be posting this video. I would not be talking to people about how I felt. I wouldn't be putting my feelings, my past life, or any of that out anywhere. I just wouldn't have done it. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. I hope you will consider adaptogenic herbs. Even if it's not Solle Naturals, I really believe these can help, but I really believe in this product. I know all of the founders of the company. I've met them, and that's one part of this company that I'm so proud of, and it makes so much difference, is that you will meet the guys that actually formulate these products, and they will talk to you, and you're a human, and it's wonderful. Especially if you've ever been in another network marketing company, you know how they work. Most times you don't even know, you've never even met the people that have founded the company except for maybe through a training video or something like that. So it's really worth it. It's really worth trying even just one product and just seeing how it works for you. And then if it starts working, another product, whatever it is, I can't recommend it enough. It changed my life. I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for listening.